Greetings, shout out to my DHGs. This is your sister, Queen Esther Tarot, aka the Hidden Gem. So I'm gonna do a general guidance. I was pulling a couple of cards here, so I'll tap into these and then I'll go into the message for us. So the first card that came out was Nurture. Second card out was Golden. Third card was Built to Fall, and last card was Cannot Be Contained. Okay, so the message that I'm getting is for you guys, for the female collective of you that I meant to reach, whoever this is for. I'm getting that there's some things, there's some destruction that's taking place, maybe literally in your own life or around you, or just as a collective. You know, the rise and the fall of certain things, certain kingdoms, I'm hearing, is happening at this time because there's about to be a new rise, and that rise is the female collective, and they cannot be contained. Does that mean that those who are male that operate in feminine energy cannot resonate to an extent to this? Yes, they can to an extent, but the female collective, the mother of civilization, I know the cards don't depict exactly what I'm saying, but those of you that get it. The mother of civilization, the female collective, you're being called to step into who you were called to be, period. The rise and the fall of man-made constructs, okay? The matriarch is stepping up to the plate, and the patriarch, though they may be ruling for a time, it's only for a time, and that is why you see a lot of destruction taking place in different kingdoms around the world, because there is going to be a rise. It always looks like things always get bad or worse before they get good, as they say, right? That is literal, that is true. Divine feminine, the Mother Earth, is cleansing and purifying things. So sometimes it has to be destroyed in order to be built up again. It has to be torn down in order to be built up again. The Tower card energy. This man is riding a horse. It kind of reminds me of a apocalyptic type of energy. The book of Revelations, the horses. So there's some type of destruction that may be taking place in front of our eyes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, again, this is something to take in a negative sense. The road is opening. The colors of this candle, from what I can see, is green and yellow, and those are some of the colors in a road opener candle. For those of you that work with candles and familiar with specific colors and stuff like that and what they mean, getting the roads are opening. These revelations is the apocalyptic energy, what they call the last days, as they say, or the last days of an era or a time. This is ushering in, and it's actually ushering in the rise of this divine feminine to where we cannot be contained. That veil or that spell or that curse of patriarch ruling in toxicity, false power and authority, and the restrictions and the condemning and the, what is the right word I'm looking for? Just being contained by these powers that be, the feminine being left to be just nothing more than a vessel or something to be used or to be pretty, and what's pretty and what's not pretty, and what you can't be too this, you can't get paid too much, you can't be too much of something, you can't be too smart, you can't, this is only what you're limited to. We've been showing that we've overexceeded all of that, but this isn't a rise to shit on the male collective. It's more so that we all can rise in our power, but in a healthy sense, because there's also been a bit of false femininity as well. This movement of we don't need anybody. In a sense, we don't really need in a codependent way, but we can be interdependent with each other as pillars together. That's how it's supposed to be. That is the power. But see, the enemy likes to cause discord. So this power and this rise is to step into the power that we were called to be as women, as the mothers, but also in our own personal callings and purposes, and not being limited to the constructs of, man-made structures, and tearing down the false masculine authorities and powers. so that the male collective can be lifted up, because there is going to be a time where there are men that still need healing. There's a lot that are refusal of healing, and we have these catch-22s, and we have the hot girl summer vibes, right? We got that movement, right? The hot girl, the bad bee structure, and then we have these toxic masculine energies now that talk about what is a high value, you know, the Kevin Samuel collective of men that resonate with that type of rhetoric. And these things are clashing. They're coming to a fold, but women are waking up to their value and their worth, and they're seeing beyond that. You can't tell me what I'm worth and what I'm not worthy of having, and so on and so forth. So these things are being torn down. They're being shifted. And I hope that I'm doing this message justice in the best way that I can, but these cards came out like this, and I immediately got the message. The children are also rising as well. It's something with the power of children, and the women, the female collective, is also pouring into the children that are of the future. The women and child is a sacred connect, and so is the man and child. The power of the divine feminine, divine masculine, but so is the child. The child is the seed. The child is the gift, the sun, the light, in other essence. All right, so let's tap into the message. I feel like that was just kind of like something that, I don't know, just needed to come through. I don't know. All right, so what cards I want to use? What is a message for my DHGs? Debating whether I should just do a whole separate video, or is that just like one thing? I don't know. Let's leave it. Okay, Holy Spirit, what is the guidance? The devil. Wow. Okay. Devil, you don't want me to get this out? Seven of Cups, the Eight of Swords, the Knight of Wands, the Empress. Yeah, pretty much tapping into going a little bit further into the message. The Star, the Moon, the Sun. Yeah, this is tapping into that message. The Chariot, the Two of Wands. It's kind of tapping into the energy that I picked up in the first half of the message or the reading. Three of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So the Devil is the energy here. There's some type of restrictive energy. It's a restrictive energy surrounding the divine feminine or the female collective right now. And I feel like you guys are maybe in the process of dealing with some type of challenging energy around you, or challenging people rather. It doesn't have to be a male, but it's some type of oppressive energy. And I feel like the more you detach from some type of connections, this feels like a romantic bond, or you are finally cutting cords and ties with certain relationship patterns, energies of spirits connected to, you know, maybe the type of partners that you had in the past. It's like you're starting to see all that glitters is not gold, or tapping into or unlocking why you desire certain things in love, or why you desire certain things for yourself. Like, what does success mean to me? What does joy mean to me? Why do I want this type of partner? Why do I need this? Blah, 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 this, and that, right? You're starting to reveal and uncover these shadow aspects of yourself. You're starting to remove certain masks that you've had on here, or that, you know, kind of catch your lens or your view of things. Because when you put on masks, it kind of limits the way that you see, like the way the mask is shaped, depending on how it's shaped, depending on how your own physical eyes are shaped. Sometimes you can't see clear out of that mask. It's like this kind of like this veil or something that's keeping you from fully seeing clear outside of that mask. Like, say you're putting on a party mask or a Halloween mask. Anybody that is goofy and such like me, that likes to play with stupid stuff like that, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's like it restricts you from seeing. They're wearing these masks. So something that's kind of like, it might be fun for a time, or even sometimes it's like that mask, you believe that it makes you more of something, right? So metaphorically speaking, putting on a certain persona or feeling Maybe not even knowing that you've been wearing a mask, if that makes sense. Because this could be things that you were taught were the meanings of love, or taught that this is what success means. You're destroying that in different ways. Okay, maybe you've been doing this. So the Eight of Swords is like you're freeing yourself, you're renewing the mind. It's almost like, you know, they say that the Eight of Swords is a self-imposed energy. And I feel like, yeah, partially, because certain things we can be presented something, but it's up to us whether we decide, okay, because you can do anything with the rope, right? You can do so many things with the rope. You decide what you do with it. So let's say someone told you that this is what real love really meant, or you seeing that in the media, or seeing it, most importantly, firsthand in your home. And you can either decide to walk in that same energy, because a lot of times this is generational trauma or generational curses, as they call it. You can choose to walk in those same paths, or you could say, I'm going to be the one that breaks that. But some type of capacity, there was an agreement to some of these toxic things, partaking in these vices of the enemy, Spirit is saying. With the Knight of Wands, you're surpassing all of this. You're facing and confronting it. It's like something about your adolescence. Maybe you might consider yourself at a younger age, in your adolescence, as maybe being unruly, or maybe even being rebellious, or you weren't the most girliest, or you weren't the most trendy in certain things. Like you might have been a little bit of an oddball, a little bit different. Maybe you didn't really have an interest in romantic partners and all of that. Maybe you were focused on other things, creative things, sports or something. You were maybe still kind of a child where everybody was growing up fast and getting into makeup and dating and all of that, and you kind of stayed focused on other things. Or it could have been that you were the opposite. You were really rebellious and you started getting into stuff really young, at a young age. Either way it goes, Spirit is saying you're looking back at this point in your life where you tapped into these vices. Where did the limitations over yourself come? For some of you, this is a spirit of self-sabotage and the imposter syndrome. For some of you, you're having to meet that block because it's keeping you from tapping into your full potential. There's something here that you're revisiting, Spirit is saying. Or you're getting the wake-up call about it. You're getting the awareness of the deception with the sun, that illumination of the hidden energy. What's keeping you in this space of not really honoring or seeing your light, or fully appreciating your light in some capacity. Aligning, most importantly, with your destiny, your divine path, your divine purpose fully. There's a block, and I feel like you're seeing it, or you're uncovering it. You're about to break the yoke of it with the Devil card here. The Empress, we know this is the divine feminine energy. This represents the divine feminine collective. This represents you. This is the root of it. So this energy is actually working in your favor because it's helping you to uncover the mask, the shadow energy. It's like you're being pulled to face that shadow part of yourself when you go into the depths of the water. It's scary. Like, who wants to get in the water with this swamp monster woman thing, whatever this is? But when you go into the depths of you, you're going to uncover the shadows, and it's okay. And that's where the mask is revealed. And it's like renewed. This is a new you. This is a sense of freedom and peace. This is what's going to free you. Getting into alignment with your path and your person, who you were always called to be. It might be a rebellious act to some, whatever this path is. Like the Knight of Wands was a misguided sense of rebellion, but this is more of rebelling against what humanity, what society, what you've been programmed by family or generations of things, coming and breaking out of that bondage, breaking the yoke, and aligning with what you were called or who you were called to be. So it's like a choice, a decision. How am I going to walk into that energy? I have a choice how I'm going to do this. For some of you, it might be one simple thing. I feel like God, the divine, has a way to reach us that's really going to get us, to see what we need to see. Maybe in some ways where people might deem it as traditional, where some may deem it as, you know, new ways of things. So social media or something on looking at this woman's looking at her phone. So it could be something that you receive that really helps you, directs you. It's a message that you receive. And maybe that it's not so literal, you know, like a modern message coming through your phone or something you're watching or listening to. It could very well just be beyond that, on the lookout for some type of message that's going to give you insight into the path or how to move forward towards that path. It's a call as well. Yes, thank you, Spirit. You're answering the call. You're answering some sort of call. It's going to take you to your next level. For some of you, yeah, it's like, let's say, for instance, you're called to leave a job that you've always been comfortable at. A job where you know it pays well. You've been there in the company. You've excelled. But it's time, and you know in your spirit it's time to let it go. There's a shoe, a girl that makes custom shoes. She's made a few shoes for some celebrities, some like internet celebrities too as well, or internet or social media influencers. She's made heels for these people. Some of her shoes have been featured in music videos and stuff like that. She decided, I was glad that I got my shoes made by her for my birthday before she literally, she made an announcement like a few days ago that she was not going to be making shoes anymore. She said that it was something that she was good at, not something she was truly passionate about. And she said that she was getting offline, off social media. And like I've been saying, like God's really been kind of talking to me about this, like social media and all of that, and a life outside of that completely, and not feeling like you're totally restricted to be successful or to get your, you know, your brand or to even share your gift with the world or whatever, off just the whole basis of social media, that it doesn't have to just be solely based out of social media, if at all, that you can still thrive without it. But she was saying that she's going to delete her socials and take time for herself to figure out who she's being called to be as a woman. And the shoes, she said it was something that she was extremely good at and all of that, but it wasn't something that she was ever passionate about. She just knew she was good at it. So she's giving that up. And I said to myself, like, she's brave, because she's got over 100K followers on Instagram, and she's made, like I said, she's made shoes for some names, and her shoes are so dope. But she's deciding to leave that behind, leave it, you know. So you could be really good at your job, or you could be excelling at the company, but it's something that, let's say, for instance, that's calling you higher. Not saying that that's specifically for you, but I was led to share that part with you. But I feel that whatever this is, it's a rebellion against some type of social norms, not rebelling in a sense of going in a way that you know is not against, that is not in alignment, and it goes against your divine path. Not saying that, you know what I'm saying. I feel like the Knight of Wands represents that, the immature, the adolescent aspect. The chariot is more the aligned, more mature, spiritually mature aspect. Purity, seeing the soul within. Yeah, that is the premise of this. That is the purpose of this. Kind of gives me the star card vibe. You're unlocking this within yourself. She's got like white peacock feathers. It's a white peacock, can represent pride. It can represent confidence. You know, that part of yourself. Don't hide that part of you. When you're tapping into the truth, soul sabotage or self-sabotage. When you're tapping into the true aspect of yourself and your divinity, there is nothing to be ashamed of. That is pure confidence in who you were called to be. It's not from a place of a false mask or what you have, what you don't have. It's your soul print, who you are. So self-sabotage is here, and I feel like it's being addressed. One of these energies is Eight of Swords energy. I feel like one of these energies is self-sabotage. It says, first, you need to believe you are worthy. So do you believe that you are worthy for the life and the path that you were called to? Twin flame, a connection like no other. So some of you guys are meeting your soul self. And I'm getting more so within self, first and foremost. It doesn't necessarily have to be an external source. For some of you, that is your path, is to something with your divine counterpart. And like I said, you need both pillars to stand. It's not, this is a movement for women to shit on men but it's more so for the female and male, feminine and masculine collective to come together and work together, not just only in sexual and romantic relationships, but also in relations, period. Business relations, spiritual relations, just different levels. So in a place of balance, in a sense of what femininity is, or what you were called to operate in femininity, and removing that veil of what femininity is and that restriction of what femininity is, but tapping into it for yourself and aligning with others that are operating in their femininity and in their masculinity, that we can come together in a harmonious way without all the structures and all the restrictions of society and all of that. Breaking that yoke on a spiritual level, on a collective level. All right, I'm going to pull one more card. Or I wouldn't say one more, but one more deck, I should say. I'm going to use my spiritual messages. Let's see. Holy Spirit. A new chapter. Yes, this is a new chapter for many. Trailblazer. That card comes out a lot for y'all. Confirmations and answering the call. Yep. Activation. That's supposed to be my Goku. Okay. Super Saiyan. Top notch. Okay. So yeah, you guys, you're being activated to a high level within yourself. You're being guided to answer the call. Okay. Remember I was saying, like, the phone doesn't necessarily have to be a literal message. It could just be a metaphor for answering the call from the divine to really initiate this path for yourself that you're called to. It's time to make your mark. On your mark, ready, set, go. Confirmation. This is maybe a confirmation for someone, this message. Okay. I ain't mad at it. All right. Much love as always. Y'all be blessed. Be safe. Take care.